Don't waste your time. Good evening, everyone. We live in a world that's constantly on the move. The clock never stops ticking, the days blend into one another, and we find ourselves rushing from one task to the next, one goal to the next, all while time slips right through our fingers. But I want to remind you of something important today. Time is the one thing we can never get back. We might waste money, we might lose opportunities, but the one thing we can't buy more of is time. And here's the thing. We often waste time in the most unexpected ways. We waste time on things that don't matter, on the opinions of others, on things that drain us rather than lift us up. We think we have all the time in the world, so we delay our dreams, we procrastinate, and we tell ourselves, I'll do it tomorrow. But I ask you, what if tomorrow never comes? What if we wake up one day and realize we've spent years waiting for the perfect time, only to find that time has slipped away unnoticed? We spend so much of our lives chasing the what ifs, living in fear of failure, worrying about what others think, or comparing our journey to someone else's. We waste time living in someone else's version of success instead of our own. What if instead we used our time to build the life we truly want to live? A life full of purpose, full of moments that matter, full of laughter, love, and growth? What if we dared to be unapologetically ourselves without waiting for permission or validation? Time is precious. Every second is an opportunity to make something meaningful. Every minute is a chance to make progress, whether it's learning something new, pursuing a passion, or connecting with the people who truly matter to us. But here's the twist. Time is not just about doing. It's about being. It's about taking those moments to pause, to reflect, and to appreciate where you are right now. We often rush through life so quickly that we forget to live in the moment. But in those quiet moments, in the spaces between the hustle, we find clarity and direction. I urge you, don't wait for a better time. Don't wait for the stars to align or for someone to give you the green light. Start now, today, because when you do, you'll look back and realize how much time you wasted waiting, wishing, and wondering. Instead of waiting for life to happen, make life happen. Don't waste your time second-guessing, doubting, or holding back. Your time is now. Your potential is unlimited. The world is waiting for you to show up, to be bold, and to make the most of every single moment. So let's stop wasting time. Let's use it wisely, with intention, with passion, and with purpose. Let's make every moment count, because in the end, that's all we really have. Time is the one thing in life that doesn't follow the rules we want to impose on it. We can't stop it, slow it down, or speed it up. Time once gone is never returned to us. It's the most precious thing we own, and yet so often we don't treat it with the respect it deserves. We live in a world where we can purchase nearly anything, material things, services, experiences, but time? That's not for sale. We can't make a deal for more hours in a day or buy a second chance to relive a moment. We are often told that time is money, but time is far more valuable than money. Money can be earned back. You can lose money, make mistakes, face failures, and yet with effort and patience, it's possible to rebuild your financial standing. But time, the clock doesn't wait for you to recover from missed opportunities. Time keeps moving, indifferent to your regrets or your aspirations. Once a moment passes, it's gone. And in that sense, time is the only currency in the world that is truly finite. We live as though time is an endless resource. How often do we hear phrases like, I'll get to it later, or I'll do it tomorrow? We act as though time is something that will always be there, waiting for us to use it. But the reality is, we are all on borrowed time, and none of us know how much we have left. We look at our lives through the lens of an unspoken assumption that tomorrow is promised to us. But it's not. Time doesn't guarantee us another minute, another day, day, another year, we often take it for granted, assuming that we will always have the luxury of more time, when the truth is, we might not. We waste time on countless things that don't serve us, chasing after fleeting pleasures, obsessing over things we can't control, or holding on to things that no longer serve our growth. We spend hours scrolling through social media, mindlessly watching television, or procrastinating on things that matter most. And as the hours slip away, we tell ourselves that we'll catch up later, that we'll work harder tomorrow, that we'll live differently when we have more time. But this is a dangerous trap. It's easy to let time slip through our fingers, especially when we're distracted by the demands of life. Yet every minute that passes is an opportunity lost, an opportunity to do something meaningful, something that matters to us and those around us. The urgency to make time count becomes even clearer when we reflect on the idea that there's no do-overs with time. We often wish for the chance to go back, to fix our mistakes, to relive our youth, or undo the regrets that have accumulated over the years. But wishing for a time machine to take us back is futile. We can't rewind the clock. We can't return to moments we've lost. All we can do is make the best use of the time that remains. Think about it. How often do we say, if I only had more time? We feel rushed, overwhelmed by deadlines and expectations, as though there aren't enough hours in the day to do everything we need to do. But the truth is, it's not about having more time. It's about how we choose to use the time we have. Time is equally distributed to all of us. No one has more hours in a day than the next person. The difference between those who thrive and those who feel overwhelmed is how they choose to prioritize their time. Every day presents us with choices. We choose how we spend our hours, whether we give in to distractions or take control of our time, whether we invest in things that nourish our minds, bodies, and spirits, or waste time on things that add no value to our lives. We must recognize that every moment counts, not just the big ones, but the small, everyday decisions we make. Imagine waking up tomorrow with the knowledge that you have only 1 year left to live. How would you spend your time? Would you continue to procrastinate on your dreams? Or would you seize every moment and pour your energy into what truly matters? Time has a way of showing us what's truly important, especially when we face the realization that our time here is limited. The truth is, none of us know how much time we have left. The moment we waste today might be a moment we can't get back tomorrow. In today's world, we often place value on speed, on getting things done quickly, efficiently, and with little room for reflection. We are conditioned to believe that faster is always better, that time is something to be managed rather than experienced. But in our rush to make the most of time, we often forget to actually live it. We rush through our days with a checklist in hand, never truly pausing to appreciate the beauty of the present moment, the people we're with, or the experiences we're having. Living intentionally with time means acknowledging that it's not about doing more. It's about doing what matters. It's about choosing quality over quantity, depth over speed. The constant drive to get more done leaves us exhausted and unfulfilled, while giving our time to what truly matters: the relationships, passions, and experiences that bring us joy, fulfills us with meaning and purpose. The concept of time is also closely linked to our sense of urgency. Time, when approached with a sense of urgency, can either fuel us to take action or paralyze us in fear. But there is a difference between feeling pressured by time and using that pressure as a catalyst for growth. Embracing time with urgency means recognizing that every day is an opportunity to make progress toward our goals. It means taking the first step, no matter how small, even when the path ahead seems daunting. Time is a powerful motivator, but only if we choose to treat it as a force that propels us forward rather than something that holds us back in uncertainty. It's also important to note that we often waste time in ways that aren't immediately obvious. For example, how many of us get caught up in worrying about the future or regretting the past? How many hours do we spend ruminating over things we cannot change, allowing anxiety to rob us of the present? Worrying about things beyond our control is a surefire way to waste time. Instead of focusing on the things we can't alter, we should focus on what we can do in the here and now. And focusing on the present allows us to make the most of the time we have without being bogged down by what's already happened or what might happen in the future. The irony is that we don't often realize how precious time is until we're faced with the reality that it's slipping away. As we grow older, we start to see how much time we've spent on things that didn't truly matter, and we long for the time we can't reclaim. We can't turn back the clock, but we can take control of the time we have now. And that, in itself, is the most empowering choice we can make. The beauty of time, despite its fleeting nature, is that it offers us an endless opportunity for transformation. We have the ability every single day to start anew, to reprioritize, and to direct our time toward what we value most. This power lies within each of us, regardless of our circumstances. Time doesn't judge us based on our past. It gives us a fresh chance every moment to create something new, to be better, to live with purpose. That's why it's essential that we make the most of the time we're given. Time once spent can never be reclaimed. If we are to live fully, to experience joy, fulfillment, and growth, we must choose to live in alignment with our deepest values and passions. The moments we waste today are the memories we won't have tomorrow. Time is, without a doubt, the most valuable thing we own. And the greatest gift we can give ourselves and the world is to make it count. Life moves in moments. Every second that passes is an opportunity, a chance to evolve, to become a better version of ourselves, to connect with others, or to learn something new. Yet we often get caught up in the rush of life, focusing so much on the past or future that we forget to fully engage with the present. The truth is, every moment holds within it the potential for growth, learning, and connection. Every moment holds within it the potential for growth, learning, and connection. The key is to recognize these opportunities and seize them, no matter how small they may seem. Growth is not always a dramatic transformation or a huge leap forward. Often it's the little moments of change, the decisions we make in everyday life that lead to the most significant personal development. Every conversation, every challenge, every success or failure has something to teach us. Growth doesn't always happen when things are easy. It often emerges from our struggles, the moments when we feel pushed to our limits. It's during these times that we learn the most about ourselves, our resilience, our patience, our capacity to overcome. These are the moments that mold us into stronger, wiser individuals. The key is to embrace these experiences with an open mind, willing to learn from both the successes and the failures. Learning, too, is a continuous process. We often think of learning in terms of formal education, books, lectures, degrees. But in reality, learning is a lifelong journey that takes place in every aspect of our lives. We learn not only from structured environments, but also from the people we meet, the challenges we face, and the mistakes we make. The moments we experience, good or bad, are lessons in themselves. Every time we encounter something new, we are presented with an opportunity to expand our knowledge, to see things from a different perspective, and to deepen our understanding of the world around us. We should never underestimate the power of these small moments of learning. Sometimes, the most profound lessons come from the simplest interactions, the most ordinary experiences, or the smallest of actions. But learning is not just about gaining knowledge. It's also about unlearning. It's about letting go of old beliefs, assumptions, and patterns that no longer serve us. As we move through life, we accumulate experiences that shape how we see the world. But some of those experiences can lead to limiting beliefs that hold us back. Every moment presents an opportunity to challenge these beliefs, to question what we've been taught, and to reshape our understanding of ourselves and the world. Unlearning old habits or negative thought patterns can be just as powerful as acquiring new knowledge. Each moment is an opportunity to discard what no longer helps us grow and to embrace new ways of thinking and being. Equally important is the opportunity for connection that each moment offers. Every interaction we have, whether it's a deep conversation with a loved one, a brief exchange with a stranger, or a quiet moment shared with nature, holds the potential for connection. Connection is the fabric that binds us together as human beings. It's in the way we communicate, listen, and relate to one another that we build bridges, deepen relationships, and foster understanding. In a world that can often feel disconnected, it's easy to forget just how powerful human connection is. Every time we take the time to truly listen to someone, to offer a kind word, or to show empathy, we are building bonds that nourish both us and others. Connection is not just about the people in our lives, it's also about connecting with ourselves. Taking a moment to reflect on our thoughts, to listen to our emotions, or to simply sit in stillness can be just as valuable as connecting with others. We often overlook the importance of self-connection, believing that we need to be constantly busy or engaged with the outside world. However, moments of self-reflection and introspection are essential for our personal growth and well-being. They allow us to better understand our own needs, desires, and values, and to make choices that align with our true self. Even the most challenging moments offer opportunities for connection. Difficult conversations, disagreements, or moments of conflict can deepen our understanding of others and strengthen our relationships. When we approach these situations with an open heart and mind, they become opportunities for growth. They allow us to practice patience, to hone our communication skills, and to learn how to navigate complex emotions. In these moments, we have the chance to demonstrate empathy, to show up for others, and to build stronger connections through vulnerability and honesty. The beauty of life is that every moment, no matter how fleeting, holds the potential for transformation. We can choose to approach each moment with intention, to extract meaning from even the most ordinary of experiences. When we stop rushing through life and start being present in each moment, we open ourselves to the endless possibilities for growth, learning, and connection. The world is constantly changing, and we are constantly changing with it. Every second is an invitation to become a little more of who we're meant to be. As we move through life, we should remember that growth, learning, and connection aren't just about the big milestones or life-changing events. They happen in the small, everyday moments. It's in the way we approach a conversation, the way we respond to a challenge, or the way we reflect on our actions that we experience growth. It's in the way we learn from our interactions with others, the way we connect with our own emotions, and the way we open ourselves to new ideas and experiences that we continue to evolve. Every moment is an opportunity, a chance to become better, to understand more deeply, and to connect more authentically. By embracing these moments with an open heart and mind, we create a life full of meaning, purpose, and connection. Life is not just about the destination. It's about the journey we take in every single moment. And if we truly embrace the opportunities each moment offers, we will find ourselves on a path of continuous growth, learning, and deep connection with both ourselves and others. Failure is often viewed as something to avoid, something that signifies defeat or inadequacy. From a young age, we are taught to fear failure, to see it as a sign that we are not good enough or that we have somehow fallen short of expectations. In many cultures, failure is equated with weakness or incompetence. And as a result, we are conditioned to strive for perfection, to avoid mistakes at all costs. However, the truth is that failure is not something to be feared. It's something to embrace. Failure is not the end of the road. It's a necessary and essential part of the journey towards success. When we think about success, we often focus on the end result. We see the finished product, the successful entrepreneur, the accomplished artist, the thriving athlete. and we admire the outcome without fully understanding the process that led to it. What we don't see are the countless failures, missteps, and setbacks that occurred along the way. Success is rarely a smooth, linear path. It's filled with bumps, detours, and even roadblocks. The key to achieving success is not to avoid failure, but to learn from it, to grow through it, and to use it as a stepping stone toward achieving our goals. Every successful person has failed at some point. In fact, many of them have failed numerous times. But instead of letting failure define them, they used it as a learning experience. They saw it as an opportunity to refine their skills, to adjust their strategies, and to try again. Failure teaches us valuable lessons that we can't learn any other way. It shows us where we need to improve, what doesn't work, and how we can approach a challenge from a different angle. Failure provides us with the feedback we need to keep moving forward, even when the path ahead seems uncertain. One of the biggest barriers to success is the fear of failure. When we are afraid to fail, we become paralyzed. We hesitate to take risks, to step outside our comfort zones, or to pursue our dreams because we fear what might happen if we don't succeed. We let the fear of failure hold us back from even trying. But the irony is that by avoiding failure, we are actually avoiding the very thing that will lead us to success. Every time we fail, we are one step closer to finding the solution, the answer, or the breakthrough that will move us forward. If we never take risks, if we never fail, we will never experience the growth that is necessary to reach our full potential. Failure also builds resilience. It teaches us how to handle adversity, how to bounce back from disappointment, and how to stay focused on our goals despite setbacks. Resilience is one of the most important qualities we can develop because it allows us to persevere when things get tough. It's easy to stay motivated when everything is going well, but it's in the face of failure that we truly test our determination and our resolve. When we experience failure and choose to rise above it, we become stronger, more capable, and more prepared for the challenges ahead. The fear of failure can also prevent us from being creative and innovative. When we are too concerned with getting everything right, we limit ourselves to what is safe and comfortable. But true innovation and creativity come from experimentation, from trying new things, and from taking risks. We won't always succeed on our first try, but that's part of the process. Every mistake is an opportunity to learn something new, to refine our ideas, and to push the boundaries of what we thought was possible. Failure encourages us to think outside the box, to explore new possibilities, and to approach problems from different perspectives. Without failure, there is no progress. Without risk, there is no reward. Failure teaches us humility. It reminds us that we are not infallible, that we don't have all the answers, and that we still have much to learn. It's easy to become arrogant when we're constantly succeeding, but failure brings us back to reality. It shows us that no one is exempt from the challenges of life, and that we must always be willing to learn, adapt, and grow. Humility is essential for success because it keeps us grounded and open to new ideas and feedback. When we embrace failure, we become more willing to admit our mistakes, to seek help when we need it, and to continuously improve ourselves. Another important aspect of failure is that it encourages us to take responsibility for our actions. When we fail, it's important to look at the situation honestly and ask ourselves what went wrong. Did we fail because of a lack of preparation, because we didn't put in enough effort, or because we made poor decisions along the way? Taking responsibility for our failures allows us to learn from them and make better choices in the future. It's easy to blame external factors, bad luck, other people, or circumstances when things don't go as planned. But true growth comes from taking ownership of our mistakes and using them as stepping stones to improvement. Failure is not a reflection of our worth or our abilities. It is simply a part of the process of achieving our goals. It's a sign that we are pushing ourselves beyond our limits, trying new things, and striving for success. The only true failure is not trying at all, not learning from our mistakes, and not continuing to move forward. Every failure brings us closer to success because it shows us what doesn't work and gives us the opportunity to adjust our approach. Failure is not the end of the journey. It is a crucial part of the path to success. When we stop fearing failure and start embracing it as an opportunity for growth, we free ourselves to take risks, to pursue our dreams, and to reach our full potential. So often, we find ourselves stuck in a cycle of waiting. We wait for the perfect moment, the right opportunity, the ideal conditions to begin a project, make a change, or pursue a dream. We believe that everything must align perfectly for us to take that first step, and so we delay. We wait for the stars to align, for external circumstances to be just right, or for some sign that we're ready. But here's the truth. The perfect time may never come. The idea of waiting for the perfect time is an illusion. It's a trap we set for ourselves, thinking that there's a magical moment in the future when everything will be perfect. But life doesn't work that way. Conditions are never going to be flawless, and the world doesn't always stop to give us the space and calm we think we need. If we continue waiting for everything to be in place, we may find that we've spent our entire lives waiting, watching opportunities pass us by. We see this happen in so many areas of life. People wait to start a new business, thinking they need more experience, more funding, or more clarity. Others wait to begin a healthier lifestyle, believing they'll be ready when they feel more motivated or when their schedule allows. Some wait to travel, to learn a new skill, or to write that book they've always dreamed of. The list is endless. The common denominator in all these examples is that people wait for the perfect moment when in reality, they should be taking action now, imperfect as it may be. We often think that the perfect time will bring a sense of confidence, that everything will fall into place when we're ready. But the truth is that we don't become ready by waiting. We become ready by doing. Action is what builds confidence, not the other way around. It's through the process of taking risks, making mistakes, and learning from them that we grow. The perfect moment is a mirage. Waiting for it is an excuse to procrastinate, to delay the work that we know needs to be done. The problem with waiting for the perfect time is that it often comes with an underlying belief that we need to be fully prepared before we begin. This belief can hold us hostage. We think we need to have all the answers, the right skills, or the perfect circumstances to proceed. But in reality, we learn and grow as we go. Life doesn't wait for us to be perfect. It demands action, effort, and courage, even when we feel unsure or unprepared. In fact, the most successful people are often those who took action without all the answers, trusting that they would figure things out along the way. The journey itself becomes the teacher, and the lessons we learn through action are often more valuable than the knowledge we could have gained by waiting. Moreover, when we keep waiting for the perfect time, we miss out on the present. Time is precious, and every moment we spend in anticipation of some future event or circumstance is a moment we could be living fully. We don't need to wait for everything to be perfect to enjoy life and make progress. In fact, the only time we truly have is now. And if we constantly put off our goals and dreams for some imaginary perfect future, we risk never taking action at all. It's also important to recognize that waiting for the perfect time can sometimes stem from fear. Fear of failure, fear of not being good enough, or fear of the unknown can all contribute to our reluctance to take that first step. We fear making mistakes, so we convince ourselves that it's better to wait until everything is aligned. But the truth is, making mistakes is part of the process. It's through failure that we learn resilience, adaptability, and creativity. If we never take that first step, we deny ourselves the chance to learn from our experiences and grow. The desire for the perfect moment is a way of postponing discomfort. Starting something new, whether it's a career change, a new project, or a personal transformation, can be intimidating. We'd rather wait until the conditions are just right, when we feel more confident, or when the path ahead seems clearer. But the reality is that the only way to move forward is to take that first imperfect step. And each step after that gets easier, not because the conditions are perfect, but because we gain confidence and clarity through our actions. The perfect time, then, is not a magical moment that will arrive when the world is finally in our favor. It's now. The time to act is always now. There will always be reasons to delay, always be things that feel like they're in the way. But if we keep waiting, we risk losing out on everything we could accomplish. The challenge then is to embrace imperfection and take action, even when we don't have it all figured out. We need to stop waiting for the world to align with our plans and start making our plans work in the world as it is. Life is messy, unpredictable, and filled with uncertainty, but that's where the beauty lies. It's in the unpredictability, the mistakes, and the detours that we find our growth. If we wait for everything to be perfect, we miss the opportunity to discover new things, meet new people, and learn from the challenges we face along the way. So instead of waiting for the perfect time, we should ask ourselves, what's stopping us from taking action right now? What small step can we take today that will move us closer to our goals? The first step doesn't have to be big and it doesn't have to be flawless. It just needs to be taken. And once we start, we will find that the so-called perfect time was never necessary. The time is now. Too often, we find ourselves trapped in the cycle of seeking validation from others. We measure our worth based on what people think of us, the praise we receive, or the approval we get from society, family, friends, or colleagues. We live for the external affirmation, constantly checking to see if we're meeting the expectations set by others. This habit not only drains us, but can prevent us from living authentically. The truth is, living for others' approval is one of the biggest ways we waste our time. When we live seeking approval, we start to make decisions based on how others will perceive us. We choose careers, relationships, and even hobbies based on the judgment or expectations of those around us, rather than following our own passions and desires. We shape our lives according to someone else's standards, sacrificing our individuality in the process. The pursuit of external validation becomes a never-ending cycle, because no matter how much praise we receive, it's never enough to fill the emptiness of seeking approval. The issue with living for approval is that it's impossible to satisfy everyone. Every person we encounter has their own set of opinions, values, and expectations. What pleases one person may disappoint another. The more we try to please everyone, the more we dilute our own desires, opinions, and goals. Eventually, we lose touch with who we really are because we are too busy trying to be who others want us to be. Living for approval also breeds insecurity. The more we depend on the validation of others, the less confident we become in ourselves. We start questioning our own worth, our talents, and our decisions. If someone criticizes us or doesn't approve of our choices, it can shatter our sense of self. This insecurity leads us to continually seek more praise and recognition, always feeling like we're never quite enough unless we're given external validation. But the truth is, we'll never be able to please everyone. The more we try, the more we spread ourselves thin, constantly striving for something that will never be fully achieved. This external dependence on approval can also lead to resentment. When we invest so much energy in trying to meet the expectations of others, we often forget about our own needs and desires. We neglect our own well-being and happiness because we are too focused on what others think. This imbalance can create feelings of frustration, exhaustion, and resentment as we realize that we're giving so much of ourselves to others without receiving the same in return. We end up feeling unfulfilled and disconnected from our true selves. On a deeper level, living for others' approval prevents us from taking risks and stepping outside our comfort zones. We become paralyzed by the fear of judgment and rejection. Instead of trying something new, taking on challenges, or pursuing our dreams, we hold ourselves back because we're afraid of what others might think. We let fear dictate our decisions, and as a result, we stop growing, we stop evolving, we stop living fully. If we are constantly living for someone else's approval, we limit ourselves to what is comfortable and safe, avoiding anything that might make us stand out or be judged. This stagnation becomes a trap, and we waste our potential by not daring to dream or act independently. Another problem with living for the approval of others is that it often leads to a life of discontentment. We may achieve the goals and milestones that others deem important, but when we reach them, we don't feel the fulfillment we expected. The reason is simple. We didn't set those goals for ourselves. They were set for us by someone else's definition of success. We may have worked hard to meet others' expectations, but in doing so, we lost sight of our own values and desires. This disconnect between what others want for us and what we want for ourselves creates a sense of emptiness because deep down we know we haven't been living our own truth. Living for approval also undermines our own growth and development. When we focus too much on what others think, we become afraid to make mistakes, to fail, or to fall short. We avoid challenges and limit our potential because we fear criticism or judgment. But failure and mistakes are essential parts of personal growth. They teach us lessons, build resilience, and help us discover what we're truly capable of. When we live for others' approval, we stifle our ability to grow because we fear the risks that come with it. We avoid stepping outside of what's safe and familiar, and in doing so, we miss out on the opportunities that help us grow into the people we're meant to be. One of the most empowering things we can do for ourselves is to break free from the need for external validation. Instead of living for the approval of others, we need to cultivate self-acceptance and self-worth. This doesn't mean we should disregard the opinions of others entirely. It's okay to value constructive feedback and advice, but it does mean that we must stop defining ourselves based on the judgment of others. We need to learn to trust our instincts, follow our passions, and make decisions based on what feels right for us, not based on what others expect of us. When we stop living for approval, we begin to live for ourselves, and that is where true freedom lies. Living for ourselves unapologetically and authentically allows us to align our actions with our true values and desires. When we prioritize our own needs and make decisions based on what we believe is best for us, we begin to live more fulfilling lives. We find ourselves no longer weighed down by the burden of pleasing others, and we start to feel a sense of peace and empowerment that comes from knowing that we are living true to ourselves. The greatest gift we can give ourselves is the ability to stop living for others' approval. The time we spend worrying about what others think is time we could be spending on our own growth, happiness, and fulfillment. We only get one life, and it is far too short to spend it trying to meet the expectations of others. By embracing our own values and desires, and by living authentically, we free ourselves from the chains of external judgment and create the space for true happiness and self-fulfillment.